Welcome to another episode of Monthly Review. It is time to talk about the CDs released in February 2024. And let me tell you, while the month was not as eventful as expected, the quality of the music in that specific month was off the charts. So let's dive into those CDs. First off, we have SparQlew with You're My Valentine. So, in this case, we have a CD or single which is really focused on two specific things. On celebrating the group's 5th anniversary and at the same time to celebrate Valentine's Day. And as such, you have a CD that mixes the sweetness and romantic vibe of the title track with a nostalgic vibe that comes from Hajimari no Sora, the group's debut song that gets a rearrangement in this CD. So in this case, we have a single that is made, I should say, more specifically for longtime fans, because you are going to revisit a song that was previously released. For example, in my case, I had checked that song once only when it was released, and it was actually the song that made me not want to check their music out, because it was a bit too Sentai themed song and it sounded a bit too preppy or upbeat for my taste. Eventually I did, and I started checking them out with Daybreak, and what a start it was. But that song for me was not really that gripping, that interesting. But in this case, in this CD, it gets a rearrangement, and oh boy, this rearrangement is really good. If there's one thing that Kiramune has really nailed in the last couple of years, it's the rearrangements of the songs by their artists. They have been doing really amazing work when it comes to rearranging the songs and ensuring that the artists are sounding really good, and that the songs are not only a rearrangement in the music only, but they also have the vocals done again. So this is a reworked song from start to finish. Not only the instrumental, but the vocals are all also re-recorded. And they had to be, because in the original version, Shuechiba was still a part of the group, but he's no longer with the group. So the group had to add a different dynamic to the song, now with 4 members, and it sounds completely different. At least the dynamics do, and also when you look at their quality on the vocal end, they sound much more confident, more robust, and every single one of them is singing with a lot of power and emotion, something that was not necessarily there in the original version. So this is a big rearrangement, at least for me, who am not necessarily a big fan of that song. I found that song to be a massive upgrade. And now I listen to this song and I find it to be really interesting, although it's still not my thing, but it's much more interesting than the original version it is at least for me. All in this CD, I'm talking about the title track, and we are talking about the B-side track or the last track in this CD, but we are forgetting about something. Antitrust Kiss is easily the hidden gem in this CD. It is the funkiest, the grooviest, and it's the most stylish song in this CD. It is a song that is so SparQlew, and when I say this, it is a song that sounds really as the group has been sounding since Daybreak. It is really mature, it has a really interesting allure going on in there, but it still has that playful vibe that the group had when they started. So you have the mix of both sides of the group in this song, giving way to a really stylish and really awesome song to listen to. This has been my favorite in this CD. Antitrust Kiss is definitely the best song in this CD, at least for me. But you already know how I am when it comes to these types of songs that are really groovy, really funky, and that focus a lot on the vocals. I do enjoy those a whole lot, and in this case, I did enjoy Antitrust Kiss a whole lot. All in all, it's not necessarily an upgrade in comparison with previous releases, and definitely it's not my favorite CD of theirs, but it is still a really enjoyable one and one of the highlights in February 2024. And then we have Shunichi Toki with Science. Shunichi Toki has been on a roll, definitely. And I can already say this because I have also reviewed Another Birthday. So he has been on a roll when it comes to implementing and embracing jazz music, and he is doing that so well in the last couple of CDs. And in this case, in Science, he goes fully on jazz music, but he explores completely different sides of jazz music. We have the title track blending jazz with rock music and creating a really odd mix, but a mix that works really well. I should say it's not your usual jazz tune, especially coming from Shunichi Toki. At the same time, we have Roulette, and Roulette is all about the elegance, the stylish vibes. It's more refined, more, I should say, it's even calmer and more pensive in the way it is approaching at least jazz music. And it's a completely different vibe. It's more, I should say, mature in comparison with Science, that sounds more playful, but at the same time mysterious. In this case, we have a song that is really, really elegant and ends up being a highlight to me. Roulette is really the highlight to me because it is such a stylish brand of jazz music, and I do love when jazz is crazy and unpredictable, and this is something that jazz is all about. It's unpredictability, but also I like when my jazz music is slower paced and loungy, and it gives more than enough space and room to breathe for the seiyuu who is singing in this case. And I do like when the jazz is there to complement the vocals and not to steal the attention away from those. And you get when it is, for example, with bebop jazz, which is really, really fast, usually the jazz takes away the attention from the vocals. In this case, a slower brand of jazz. I'm not necessarily saying a swing, but a really slow-paced version of jazz, even classic jazz, works pretty well to give the spotlight to the vocals. It's more there as a presence in the background, a presence that will add a bounce, that will tell a story, but will never steal away the attention from the vocals. And in this case, in Roulette, you get exactly that. The instrumental paints a beautiful, elegant soundscape, rich soundscape, but never steals away the focus from Shunichi Toki's vocals. And Shunichi Toki is singing on a completely amazing level right now. I was really excited about Another Birthday, but I'll talk about that in the next corner. And in Science, we get exactly the same. Shunichi Toki is really confident, is really giving his all, is showing his versatility, and is not shy about tapping into different sides on his vocal range, because he knows he can do that really, really well. And who am I to complain about this, because he's delivering something so good, so pleasing to listen to, that I want more. I really, really want more, and I'm really enjoying Shunichi Toki as of late. I was already enjoying, but his solo debut was not as impactful from the start as I wished. He then had a couple of hiccups in there, but as soon as he found his stride, he has been amazing since then. And it's been a relay of CD releases that are really, really interesting, with a sound that makes a difference. It's never the same sound between CDs, which is also something that I appreciate. Although he's exploring at the core rock and jazz and in some way pop music, he never fully replicates what he did before. So he's doing variations of that, and I do appreciate that a whole lot. It makes his music sound fresher, and I do enjoy when artists are trying to not do the same thing over and over again. But if they have found their soft spot, their sweet spot in here with the specific music genre, and they want to explore more in there, I'm all open for that, and especially if they are trying to do or have different takes on that. This is a CD that really grabbed my attention. I'm not as big of a fan of Science as I am of Roulette, but both songs are really good. If you enjoy jazz music, this is going to be a treat, and if you enjoy Shunichi Toki's vocals, of course this is going to be a treat again. And given that we got a treat in January and a treat in February, I believe that Shunichi Toki's fans are really well fed in the last couple of months, and I believe we may soon listen to more music coming from him. I believe he may release something more before the end of the year. So that's my take here on Science. And of course, stealing the show away is Rikka Sera with Bewitch.
悲しみがいつもこの心に落とす手がかり光を求めてる僕の小さなまじない願いが解かれて剥がれてゆく仮面の下でいつかのぬくもりが静かに膨らむようなわからなくてもいいの真実なんて移ろう時間に形を変えてく幼い罪も課された罰も今は消えて見えないから生きてゆくのが苦しい時に僕の手を取り拭ってくれたね君がいる
I will confess, I haven't been the most on-time person when it comes to reviewing music in the Anokoro no Bokura wa My Dear Day CD series, because I'm still stuck reviewing Soshi's entry, and that's, believe it or not, from 2022. So I have been really late on reviewing the CDs in this series, mostly because those are basically being released on a monthly basis, and with some gaps in between them. I was hoping for those to all being released, and then I would start reviewing those. But seeing as everyone was excited about Rikka's entry, I had to check it. Not only because I love Natsuki Hanae's voice, and also because I love solids. I'm usually partial when it comes to solids, because I love them a whole lot. They have been a group that I have been following almost since the start, so I hold them really dear, and it's been really awesome to see the growth of the group, the members, and even of John-san, the composer. So in this series, in some way, we are seeing all of that happening at the same time. We have the group improving. How? Because we are seeing the members improving, and we have the seiyuu showcasing that they have improved a whole lot. Let's remember, the franchise was launched almost 10 years ago, so there has been a lot of change going on in there. And at the same time, of course, we had John-san improving a whole lot as a composer. The more he does, the more he composes for this franchise, the more he learns, the more he improves, and you can tell that by how the songs in these specific CD series are being created and how they are sounding, because they are basically taking elements from the past and having a unique, mature, and present touch or present view of how they did their music and how they do it right now. So it is from the present a look to the past, but also a look to the future, never disregarding how they are sounding right now. In Rikka Sera's Bewitch, what you get is tenfold of growth in comparison to let's say, his first solo song for real, which was Lily. Lily is a beautiful song. It's an amazing song that you should check. The mixture of traditional Japanese elements and pop worked really well. And it is a really long song, over 6 minutes, which is already a long, long song. Really cinematic, which is something that I enjoy a whole lot. But in this case, Bewitch goes 10 times over that in terms of hype, quality, delivery, and emotional range, which is something that you didn't have as much when Natsuki Hanae performed Lily, but right now you have that tenfold. In this case, Bewitch really does justice to its name. It is a song that will bewitch you, and I'm doing this on purpose, but as soon as you listen to this song, you will understand just how dreamy and how unreal the song feels like. It is almost like a dream, but completely detached of that, because it is too good to be true. It is as if you are really smitten by something that really shouldn't be there, but it is there. This song feels like that to me. It feels almost like a dream, almost like something that I shouldn't be listening to, but it is so good that I want to listen to. So it is a song that makes you and puts you in a sort of a dream vibe. And I do enjoy this a whole lot, because it's not that common to have, especially solid songs, sounding this dreamy. But then again, if you listen to Lily, you notice that it is a common theme for Rikka. And Rikka usually has a dreamy, ethereal sound that is all about beauty, and a natural beauty that doesn't need anything added to itself to actually make an impact. Lily made an impact, and it was quite a simplistic song. If you pay close attention to the instrumental, there's barely anything there that is really over the top, and especially if you listen to the instrumental and pick instruments apart, there's not many things going on in the background. Same thing here with Bewitch, but Bewitch does or goes the extra mile by adding orchestral elements in here and making this not only a pop tune but an orchestral pop tune. And it is more dramatic in a sense, because you have a really intense choir going on in the background, you have the timpani serving as the percussion, and you have those strings really dramatic alongside that piano playing on the zeros and the ones, which is really, really low and dramatic. It's really made to make an impact, and you will feel that impact. The build up to the chorus is insane. It is one of the best build-ups to a chorus that Chon-san has crafted for solids, or for anyone in solids. This is something that as I was listening, I couldn't take my ears off, and I wanted to revisit and re-listen to just that specific part. It's that good. But the song as a whole is amazing. I have been enjoying a whole lot the songs that this franchise has been releasing, and especially in this CD series. I know that I am running really, really late to some CDs, but really the ones that I have reviewed so far, I have enjoyed those really a lot, which is something that I was not necessarily expecting, because each member has a completely different vibe, and there are groups that I'm more fond of than others, but all the songs so far have been really, really good. And I do know that I have many more to listen to, and I really know that you guys have even suggested me to check Shu's Shadows Past. I will eventually review that song, so do not worry. And really, if you look at this franchise and you notice how much they have grown and how the sound has evolved, but in the same way it's still the same vibe and expectations at the core, it really is exciting. And in this case, when you go when you analyze this franchise not in a macro sense but in a micro sense, and you actually go into detail for each individual member, you see the growth in here, and you notice the growth in here. And especially as someone that has been following the group since the very start, and I was not necessarily a big fan of their debut CD. I've already said this before. The first CD by Solids is one that you can skip and you won't be missing anything. unless you want to be scarred in some way, and you can check that CD because it's not that good, and it was not composed, none of those songs were composed by Johnson, so it's a completely different solids, let's say. But the group has been amazing so far, and they continue to improve, their members continue to improve on the vocal end, and Natsuki Hanae, although he was already the best singer in the group when the group started, he continues to improve, and he sounds amazing in this CD. There's something about the way he's performing that it's not necessarily lyrical, but he's quite dramatic, and that drama only adds up to the orchestral sound that is going on in there, because when that chorus kicks in, the choir is in the background, his vocals are front and center, and the orchestra is all around him. It is a beauty of a soundscape that you have in front of you. It's a soundscape to blow you away, to steal your breath away, and you only will have eyes and ears for that performance. You will be completely quiet from start to finish. It is that type of performance that will impact you in a way that you don't even know and won't be expecting, but it is so amazing. And I found myself having a really good time with this, although this is a song that sounds a bit darker than usual, and it sounds really forlorn in a way. It has a lot of drama, so if you're not a big fan of dramatic style of performances, this might not be the thing for you, but if you enjoy a dramatic, sort of grandiose performance with a lot of confidence and an emotional range and delivery in here that is amazing, yeah, this is the song for you. And I know for sure that this is a song for me, and I believe for many of you that were really excited about this song, I believe it really hit that spot. It's that good of a song, and honestly, it makes me excited to check all the other songs that I haven't checked that were released prior to this one, and I will start reviewing those, so do not worry. I have those in my queue, and I am doing my best to review those as soon as possible. But yeah, Rikka's Bewitch was the highlight in February 2024. Honestly, it couldn't have been a better release. And now it's time for your impressions about the best CDs released in February 2024. And it's not a surprise, we have Ao here. Welcome back, Ao. And Ao says, Rikka's Bewitch, hands down. Toki Shun's Science was also fun to listen to, but Rikka just slayed, which is a very solid thing to do. I like it. The full version is not what I was expecting from the PV, and I'm sure the pace change in the second verse can throw at least some people off, but oh god, it was so Rikka. I felt like I was listening to Lily and Adonis at the same time, and I didn't think that was possible. Bonus points to Hanae and Natsuki for at least trying to tackle the French for the first time since we've learned Rikka's half French. That's a must listen for me. Now, let me tell you something. Ow. I didn't notice that the lyrics had French in there. And I speak French. So this was... I need to re-listen to this song to fully understand where is the French, because I listened to this song and I was bewitched to the point that I didn't notice that it was that he was tackling something or words in French. So I need to re-listen to this song. Now this is a really interesting information that I was not even aware of, and minus points to me because I speak French and I didn't notice that. Shunichi Toki was awesome, but when you compare that CD with Bewitch, it's a different beast. Bewitch is a different beast. This is a song that I didn't listen or didn't watch the PV, so I didn't have that experience of listening to a promotional video and then what is teased in there cuts just before the song starts sounding completely different. And the truth is, the song has a duality in there. The very first verse doesn't sound alike the second verse, and the song continues to build up and build up and build up the tension to a point in which you actually do not have the same song that you had at the start when the song ends. This is something that I do enjoy a whole lot. You do make a good point in here. When I was reviewing the song, I felt that this song was so Lily. It was a mature take on Lily, but in some way it has that dramatic vibe that Adonis had, and it is something that I do enjoy a whole lot. I remember Adonis being really amazing. This is another song that is a hidden gem in some way, because not many people mention Adonis as being a really good song. I did enjoy it a whole lot when it was released. I still love this song a whole lot. It is so dramatic, so over the top. I do enjoy it a whole lot. But yeah, in some way Bewitch is a perfect marriage between Lily's beauty and ethereal vibe and Adonis' dramatic, booming, intense vibe. And it is perfect what Johnson managed to craft in here, because it is a nod to those two songs, but with a mature, a present, a grown-up lens over it, and it sounds completely different, although it still nods to those songs, and we as fans can pick up those little nods here and there in the composition, and or even in the instruments how they were used, and the progressions within the song that are fairly, I should say, similar to what you can get in Lily and Adonis. Really, the build up, especially how the second part of the song starts shifting, it's really Adonis-like in here. And of course the whole vibe in this song is Lily for me. It was instantly the song that I picked up when I was listening to this. This is really Lily, without a doubt. And of course it has a lot of influences from Adonis, especially in the progression starting from the second verse, even the chorus itself. So yeah, I do feel you how this was an amazing release. It's a different beast, like I said, and I was really excited to listen to this, because there was excitement in the comments in the previous episode, and there was excitement when I ran a poll on the community tab here on YouTube. People were really excited about Rikka's CD, so yeah, I had to check it. I had to see what was there, and thankfully it was amazing. I was not expecting a full-blown orchestral type of pop song in some way, but yeah, Johnson delivered more and more than I was expecting, and I'm so happy about that, because this was really the song of the month for me. So thank you very much for your comment, Owl. And this is all from you. Let's dive into the next corner. It's time for Monthly Choice, the corner in which I suggest you songs to listen to, because I have been listening to those a lot, and especially now that I am back to reviewing music actively, especially my backlog, I have been coming across some awesome things that I want to talk about. And the first one is Grey Sheep, episode 1. For starters, Grey Sheep has two groups, Goat and Bad Skunk. These groups have fairly interesting lineups, which is something that I was not expecting to say when I first saw the visuals for this franchise, even before checking the vocals. But we have really awesome vocals in here. Goat has Seiichiro Yamashita, Kentito, and Yohei Azakami. And Bad Skunk has Makoto Furukawa, Shunichi Toki, and Kentaro Kumagai. So yeah, you have two amazing lineups that I already know from off the top of my head, which is already a good sign. It's a sign that they made an impact and that I want to know more about them. This is a really interesting project. I'm not following the story yet again. I I try to avoid following stories of the franchises that I start reviewing, because otherwise it would be a mess to follow all those stories and all those groups. It would be taxing for me. So I am trying to avoid basically checking the drama tracks, but I do have the drama CD, and eventually I will check, but it's not a priority right now. So I checked the music, and it is sort of futuristic, but in a way I found it interesting that the pop sound that Goat has, and in another way the funky stylings that Bad Skunk has are really, really interesting. I was not expecting the groups to sound so different between each other, and also so different among other 2D music projects or 2D groups. So they have a sound that it's not really being done by other groups, at least not fully. So they may, in some way, you may say that they have some elements that you can find, for example, in Cranv, but not necessarily their sound sounds like Cranv. They do not sound like Cranv at all. But there are some things going on in there that are really being done really well, that are also an inspiration and in some way have been used with Cranv. Not necessarily with other 2D groups, but they have some similarities with Cranv, but that's the extent of the similarities in there. They have some elements that are similar, but their sound is not. I found their sound to be quite enjoyable, and let me tell you, I'm not a big fan of EDM music, I've said it before, but even if I'm not a big fan of EDM music, it was Goat that actually impacted me the most, and I ended up enjoying their music more than I did Bad Skunk. And let me tell you, Bad Skunk has the best lineup in my opinion, at least the lineup that has the most people that I enjoy in the same place. If I could tweak some things here and there, I would pick some people from Goat to bring to Bad Skunk, and I would take some people from Bad Skunk to Goat to make the lineups more to my taste, but still, both lineups are awesome. But in this case, Bad Skunk have a funky type of song. But that song ends up having a really odd turn of events when the bridge arrives, and that odd turn of events is really off-putting, given how abrupt it is, how it doesn't fit the song itself. It sounds almost like a second song, or a song within a song, which is crazy, but as a whole it is an interesting tune, but it didn't grab my attention as much as Goat did with their debut song. So it was really something here that I was not expecting to say, that I enjoy more EDM than funk or than funky music, but yeah, here we are. I enjoyed their music so much that I reviewed their EP and then I reviewed their digital singles back to back. I was this excited about their music, and so far I have been enjoying their music a whole lot. I'm not going to talk about the digital singles per se, otherwise this feature would be completely ruined. So far I have been enjoying their music a whole lot, and I fully recommend you to check this franchise. If not for the story, you may enjoy the story, so do check the drama CDs. If not for the stories, at least for the music, and the quality of the vocals is top tier. I am enjoying a whole lot Seiichiro Yamashita leading the way for Goat, and of course I'm a sucker for Makoto Furukawa, and he's leading the way in Bad Skunk in a way that I was not expecting. You will find plenty of surprises, not necessarily in the EP, but in the digital single you will find lots of surprises coming from Makoto Furukawa, especially because he's singing in completely different styles in both songs. This is a franchise that, of course, I fully recommend you to dive into and check the music, because the franchise is just starting, so you do not have a lot to check. It's still manageable without missing the train or the hype train within the fandom, in case you want to be part of the fandom. If you are just like me, someone that doesn't pay too much attention to fandoms, and honestly I do not care much about fandoms, and you only care about the music, it's still a perfect time to check the music and dive into their music and enjoy it for what it is, without even diving into the story itself. The music is really enjoyable, so do check it, especially if you enjoy pop music, because they have a really interesting brand of pop. Bad Skunk will surprise you because they are not only pop, they have something else going on in there, but you need to check their music to actually assess what they have extra in there that I'm not telling you. And lastly, because I didn't talk about these in January, I'm going to talk about Shunichi Toki's Another Birthday. I wrote this in the review, and I'm going to say this again. This is already a strong contender for album of the year. I'm not even going to spare words in here. This is a flawless CD from start to finish. This is the very first time that Shunichi Toki releases a CD that is flawless. And honestly, I was expecting this day to arrive and this to happen, because this CD is amazing. As a standalone release, each song works really well, and as a whole, this CD is amazing. You do not have necessarily a connective thread between songs, it's not a story-driven type of CD, but each CD has an individual story that works pretty well within the whole vibe of the CD. And you start and you end almost on the same note, which is something that I fully appreciate, the whole coming full circle crafting of a CD in some way. And you have lots of interesting things going on in here, plenty of surprises. First off, we have city pop in here, something that I love. At the same time, we have, for the very first time, R&B music. And let me tell you, I was really excited about this, because as soon as I noticed the very first notes into that song already showed me that yes, this is going to be an R&B song. And oh god, I was really, really, really excited about this, because he has, I've said this before, I love my tenors to have a really sweet voice, and Shunichi Toki is the type of tenor who has a sweet voice. He's really, really gentle, even in his delivery, even when he's trying to be powerful, solo-wise, he still sounds really gentle. And I love this about his voice and his delivery and about who he is as a singer. So this works really well with R&B music that is all about being emotional, pensive, taking your time to make an impact, to slowly take the listener's hand with him and take you through that soundscape that he is creating, to deliver an intimate type of performance. It is something that is really charming, and with his voice it's instantly charming, and at the same time it is something that shows how much he has grown as an artist, because this is a mature take on his music, and it is a mature take on what he can do as a singer, because he had never tried a full-blown R&B tune as a solo artist, and this time around we get something really, really awesome. This is a treat. Honestly, for me it is a treat from start to finish, and I wanted, actually, after this song wrapped up, I wanted more of that. I know that it's not necessarily possible, because I checked Science afterwards and Science was nothing alike, but we have R&B in there with Treasure, and this is such a beautiful song. So gentle, so romantic, and at the same time so charming. It is a song that really grabbed my attention, and that honestly I wanted more of. but we also have rock in there. We also have Another Birthday, the title track, which is quieter, brings sort of an orchestral or chamber music type of ensemble into the composition. It's a really interesting mix of music genres. Like someone said in the previous episode, this is a CD that is really eclectic. It has a lot of different music genres, but they work really well together, which is something that you usually wouldn't say, that having different music genres within a CD that doesn't even have a conductive thread between them would actually sound cohesive, but it sounds really cohesive. There's something about the mastering and the way that the songs flow and how Shunichi Toki is not really changing much his performance between songs that makes it sound like it has a conductive thread. And it's really enjoyable to me to listen to a song, or at least to listen to a CD like this, in which all songs make sense and make sense together, and they work really well alone. So this is really a CD that works pretty well for people like me that like to listen to a CD from start to finish, and it works for some people, maybe you, who enjoy to listen to songs but in a shuffle way or in a playlist with other artists in the mix. It works really well. This is the type of mini album that I was not expecting to steal my breath away, but we are here talking about it, and I regret not having reviewed it in January when it was released, but honestly, I didn't arrive that late to it, and it is already in contention for album of the year, for sure. So the competition is already tough. It's Shoichiba's Blessing and Shunichi Toki's Another Birthday. So it's already strong. This year has started with 2 CDs that are already contenders for Best Album of the Year. So it's a really good sign. Let's dive into the next part. So we have a suggestion here by ML. Welcome back, ML. And ML says, so I want to talk about Kajiwara's Kimi Drops because it's one of the songs I'm rediscovering with my new earphones. The instrumental is actually a lot richer than I first realized. I love the panning in this song, with the 2 acoustic guitars in the verses, one to each side, the guitar with the main melody in the chorus at your left, a really fun melody if I may add, the piano details, the drums at the end of the last chorus, slightly panned so it feels like you are in front of them. All of these combined with Kajiwara's warm vocals, you basically get good vibes from every direction, and I love it. First of all, ML, I hope you are enjoying your new earphones, because I do know how having a different pair can make a big difference, and I'm usually talking about how headphones make a big difference when you are listening to music. In my case, I've already told almost all of you, but I will say it again. I'm using a Sennheiser pair of headphones. They are here. These are my headphones to review music, and they are amazing. And I wouldn't trade those for anything else. But before that, I was listening to music with, let's say, regular headphones or earphones, and I thought that I was listening to really good music and the quality was amazing, which was amazing. But as soon as I shifted to a new pair of headphones, and in this case, this was a massive upgrade because these headphones are high resolution headphones focused on a hi-fi experience. When I listened to some of my favorite songs with these headphones, it was as if I was rediscovering those, as if I was listening to a song for the very first time, and I loved it a whole lot. So I feel you in this whole thing of rediscovering songs, because I do know that feeling, and I love that feeling of rediscovering a song, because you are approaching it from, not necessarily from a different way, but you are rediscovering it from a different lens. Let's say the headphones are giving you a different perspective and a different take on a song that you already know and love. And as you were describing, you can already pinpoint everything around you, so I will assume your earphones are really awesome. Do let me know in the comments which is the brand that you are using. I am always open to suggestions. I have a big collection of headphones, but I'm always open to suggestions, especially if the soundscape is as well populated as you are finding it populated, and you can already tell how far and how close some elements are to you. So this is really exciting to see that you are rediscovering a song, and given that it is Gakto Kajiwara's Kimi Drops, well, you are having a lot of good first experiences going on in there, because he does have a really interesting sonic experience ready for you to listen and to experience for the first time. And most people are listening to his music, I wouldn't say in a wrong way, because what is common is to have okay gear to listen to music. It's not okay or normal to have high-end gear to listen to music. So actually most people are listening to the music as it is presented on a streaming platform or on a download. But if you get those awesome headphones just a step above what you are right now, you will notice the difference. The song will sound sharper, brighter, more open. The soundscape will sound more or vast in comparison to really close and close to you. And you will notice that the singer may be going around you or panning to either side, or some elements are only on one side while the rest of the elements are playing on all sides, or you have something really close to you and something really further to where you are, or that some elements are shifting in the soundscape. You will notice those differences, and that's what adds a lot of dynamic to a song, and that's what makes me really excited when I am listening to a song. It's to pick up those little details, and I'm really happy that you are now picking those details and having a blast. I do recommend you, of course, to check all the songs that you love and listen to those with those earphones, those new earphones that you got, because I believe you will experience completely different things in songs that you already know by heart, and even by new songs that you may come across in the future. So this is really something that really excites me, and I'm really happy for you. I hope you continue to enjoy the songs that you are listening and that you love, but now from a different perspective, from a different lens, and that you can actually dive into awesome songs that have so much going on in the background that most people do not even notice. Really excited for you, and I really hope that you get to re-listen to all the songs that you love with those new earphones. We have a big comment from Ao. Welcome back, Ao. And Ao says, as always, I could come with a list. And for now, I would like to highlight the last unit release for CIEL outside the anime songs, aka their Heart entry in the card series. As a side note, all of the card series deserves love, but there's something about the way CIEL goes from borderline gothic, dark cathedral, sort of music in Aino Kibo, to a love ballad in Love You Forever that makes my heart feel full. I know a lot of people preferring Suisei no Clover from the club release over Love You Forever, but I might have a personal weakness towards Heart. Basically, it was a release that made me think, well, yes, Hamatakeshi definitely composes for both CIEL and Lolodi with its vibes. Yeah, you didn't need to check, the vibes are there. Also, Wagamama from Kanazuki Iku and Minazuki Rui, probably one of my top 3 favorite duets Tskyuta released last year. I definitely can see where it's a response to Childish Flower, their first kind of rock duet, but at the same time it's a bit different in how both Shoten and Onoke are using their voices and skills they acquired over the years. I guess it fits the theme of a 10th anniversary, huh? Also, it's a good entry if you want kind of rock song and Shoten's vocals to listen to. First off, you had me at Shotawoi and rock music. Given how his last attempts with rock music in Detonator were not that interesting in my opinion, I'm looking for something that really quenches my thirst when it comes to Shotawoi performing rock music. I do love his voice and he fits rock music a whole lot. He did miss that in Detonator, at least for me, so I'm looking for something of an alternative in there, so I may check this song. Tsukito franchise is not a franchise that I actively follow because the music in the franchise is a bit all over the place for me, and it has so much music going on in there that I am already arriving pretty late in there. I would have to review everything from the start to even anything right now makes sense to me, so it's already a lost cause for me. But I do enjoy getting your feedback in here about the Tsukito franchise, and especially songs, individual songs that are here and there that may be interesting to check, especially in my case as someone that loves rock music. This is something that really will pique my interest. If you are watching this episode or listening to this episode, I do welcome you to actually follow Ao's suggestion and check Wagamama by Kanazuki Iku and Minazuki Rui, because this is already sounding like a really awesome song. Given the lineup and given the music genre, it's already sounding really good to me. So do check it if you can. At the same time, we are talking about CIEL and the Heart entry in the Cards CD series. The Cards CD series is really underrated. I do not know why. This was the CD series that gave us solids performing jazz music and performing ballads. This is a series that was completely off the charts for all groups, but really delivered unique things when it came to CIEL and Solids. Those two groups were the groups that changed the most when it came to the Card CD series. And the Heart entry, I do not recall if I enjoyed it a whole lot or not, so I'm going to say this without checking any reviews because I do not recall, and I may leave a note in this episode which was the entry that I enjoyed the most out of those that you actually mentioned, which is to say the Heart entry. Let's say I No Kibo we have in here, and then we have Love You Forever. These two, and also Suisei no Clover. I believe Suisei no Clover I was not that big of a fan. I will have to check. Yet again, you will see that on screen right now, because I do not recall on top of my head. And this was a series that was really, really awesome. It had some hiccups in the releases because there were some delays in the releases, but other than that, I was really excited about this series, and it ended up being exciting. It was not a Kachu Fugetsu series, which is considered as one of the best in this franchise, but it was equally amazing, at least for me. Not as mesmerizing, but it was equally amazing. And yeah, I do not remember which was the song. It was I No Kibo. Yeah, which was really, really dark and intense. Yeah, in that way, Takeshi Hama was really showing that, yeah, I can be dark, and CIEL can sound dark. They may not only be good vibes and feel good vibes in there. They have something more, they can do something more, and they have the vocals to deliver that something more. I do remember people getting a bit on the fence when I No Kibo was released because the song sounded too different from what CIEL was doing up until then. But honestly, I like when groups try to shift things around and try different things, even try the music genres that other groups within the same franchise are doing. In some way, what it felt like me in I No Kibo was that they were doing an interesting take on what could be the style if Growth were performing a song like that. But seeing as it is Hama Takeshi composing the song, in some way the parallels start appearing here between them and Lolo D, although they are from completely different franchises. Hama Takeshi is a beast, and I love his compositions. Whenever he's creating music for 2D groups, in this case he does so exclusively in the Skipper franchise for CIEL, and he does that as well exclusively for Lolo D in the Hanadol franchise, and occasionally does some things for Tobari or Pionix. It is interesting to have his take on music, and sometimes I don't even check who were the composers for the songs, and I instantly can tell that it is Hama Takeshi in there, because his music is so layered, so complex, so deep, but still so clear to the listener, that and really focused in the storytelling through music, that I really can't take my eyes and ears off of his music, and as a result I end up turning into a massive fan of the groups he composes music for. And Unwelcome, welcome to this episode. Unwelcome has a suggestion, Bet Your Intuition. I discovered SciDem on Spotify. Initially, when I watched the anime, it didn't catch my attention and neither did their songs. However, recently I stumbled upon one that had me jamming hard to its funky vibes and stylish composition. I absolutely adore the colors of their voices and the intricate instrumental. There are so many subtle details in this song that I never get bored of it. I do not recall Bet Your Intuition. Let me check. At least who is performing the song, because I don't remember. It's been a long time since I listened to music from the SciDem franchise. Believe it or not, it's been since 2018, 2019. It's been a long time. Oh, this is Frame. Out of all the groups in this franchise, this is the group that I know the least. I'm a big fan of Sam, Legenders, and Jupiter in some way, and Dramatic Stars. I do enjoy as well High Joker, and in some way Altessimo, but not as much as the other groups that I just said. So yeah, Frame, I do not recall their music, but if you are saying this is really an interesting song, and especially because you watch the anime and you listen to the songs in the anime and none really caught your attention, I do feel that this is an interesting song at least. I do know that Frame have a really cool sound to them. It's not really the type of sound that I do enjoy a whole lot, but they have an interesting sound going on in there. And especially if it is a funky type of song, which I will say yet again, I do not recall. This may be an interesting listen, especially for people that are or just coming across the franchise, or that have been fans of the franchise, but it's been a long time since they listen to music from this franchise, which is my case, for example. At the same time, you suggest Umbilical Lover by Anthos. I can't describe this song, but honestly, it sounds ethereal. Their voices sound so clear, the environment gives a dreaming, chill vibe, where their voices become the main center. But at the same time, the soundscapes start to get a little complex in the synths. Though I find amazing how they maintain that clear image that actually can be considered simple yet noble and pure. Yes, one thing about Anthos that they have had since their start is their ethereal, crystal, clear, pure white soundscape. It is something that is a given in their songs. Even if their songs stray a bit away and start to get a bit darker, they still have that ethereal vibe. Not necessarily the pure white soundscape, but they do have that ethereal vibe, and I do enjoy that a whole lot about their music. It is something that has set them apart since the start, and it is something that makes me come back to their music all the time. I do listen to their music on a shuffle playlist almost all the time. Their music and Lolo D's as well. Umbilical Lover is a really, really good song. Yet again, the vocals in this song are amazing. Umbilical Lover is part of a really awesome CD, and in this case, this is the type of song that will catch your attention almost immediately. It's really dreamy, it's really ethereal, but at the same time you do know that underneath it all there's a layer of sadness, there's a layer of darkness, and this works so well with Anthos. Honestly, thank you very much for participating, and let's go to the next corner. This episode is sponsored by all the Hand That Feeds HQ's patrons on Patreon. A big thank you for the support. It's time for Music in the Horizon, that section in which we talk about the CDs that are going to be released in the present month. It's already March, and there's already some awesome things going on in the background. There are some CDs that were already released. One of those is Anthos with Room. I'm really excited about it. I want to dive into it. The excitement is growing with each passing day that I have the CD in my library and I open to basically review other music, and I I'm staring at it thinking maybe I should dive into it. At the same time, I'm really excited about Kentito's SeiYuu. I've enjoyed Hanabi, his first EP, and now we are getting a second EP, and I haven't checked necessarily all the digital singles that were released so far, because I've already learned my lesson and I won't be reviewing digital singles from solo artists in the near future, because those songs are going to be released in an EP or in a CD soon after. So in this case I only have one song sort of spoiled for me, but otherwise I'm really excited about this CD and I want to dive into it as soon as possible. So I'm really curious to see what Kentito has to offer in this CD, and if it is going to be much different from Hanabi, or if it is a continuation of the style or the songs or even the singing style that he has in there. So I'm really curious about it, and given that it is Kentito on the vocals, of course it's going to be good and sounding good. What remains to be seen and heard is the instrumentals themselves. So I'm really expecting top tier performances. I'm really excited about which type of music he's going to bring to the table with his EP. Then we have Hound Roar with Insanity. Well, it's been a long time since Hound Roar released music. The Dig Rock franchise was quiet for a couple of months, and finally they are back with a new CD series, but first they are going to release their very first digital singles. And Hound Roar is going to release Insanity. This is, from the title alone, it's going to be a good song, and especially because the group performs acid jazz, it's only going to be awesome from here. And of course, let's not forget, we have Toshiki Toyonaga on the vocals. Of course it's going to sound good, so it remains to be seen and heard when the song arrives, but I am expecting really good things coming from Hound Roar. This is a group that I love a whole lot. This is a group that I want more from, but they are not releasing music as frequently as I would have wished, or even as it is recommended for a group to stay top of mind among fans, especially fans that are really spreading their favorites among various 2D groups and 2D franchises and 2D bands. And of course, my favorite rock band in the Dig Rock franchise is Ruby Leopard, and Ruby Leopard are back with a new digital single, or their first digital single, titled Halation. And I'm really excited about it. I love this band, I love their rough vibe, and I love even more Makoto Furukawa's vocals, so of course I am quite excited about it, and I can't wait to dive into that song and put my hands on it. I'm really excited about this. And what about you? Well, ML says, this is actually a February release, but it will be after the survey closes, so if you let me mention it here, of course. I'm looking forward to Enlight Tribe's first album. Sadly, there's just one new song. I'm not sure if it will be by all the 10 members or only by the 3 main vocalists, but either way I'm excited, especially because it's been nearly a year and a half since they released music. Yeah. This was a news that completely went by me. I didn't even notice that this CD was going to be released until it was released. This was already a big surprise to me. I found about it a couple of weeks ago, and I was really, I was not expecting this to happen. But yeah, I noticed that it has only one new song, and it really goes back to grab songs released by all bands. I feel like this album is more of a best-of album, more than a first album that opens the door to a second album. In some way, I feel like this franchise is slowly drifting away, something that I do not want it to basically happen. I do enjoy the Enlight Tribe franchise a whole lot. My favorite band is Esmeralda. But yeah, I feel like this franchise is in some way starting to bid goodbye. I don't want that to happen, and this is just conjecture on my side. This is not confirmed in any way, but it is the feeling that I get from this album. It is a bit odd to release an album like this. Of course, they are going to follow it with a live show, but then again, the franchise was quiet for so long that I don't... Unless they were regrouping and thinking well about which is going to be the next CD series, how it is going to be crafted, and how are the dynamics going to change or not, I do not see it here being a good sign for this franchise to release an album so long after releasing the CDs. In some way, this is giving me Perfection Noise vibes, and it was really tough to see a franchise go after releasing an album, a first album, which was a compilation of all the songs released so far. So yeah, call me cautious, but when I look at what Enlight Tribe is doing with this first album, I think immediately about Perfection Noise and their first album, and how after that it was Radio Silence. But let's see if it's not the case. They are going to hold a live show, and perhaps they are going to kick off a new CD series. Hopefully they kick off a new CD series, because I want more music from this franchise. I have yet to review the CDs by each band that were released a year and a half back, although I have already reviewed Esmeraldas in the Review Advent Calendar series. In case you haven't checked, just type Esmeralda in the channel's search bar and you will find the review. So yeah, excited about the Enlight Tribe franchise, but at the same time a bit cautious, because I've seen too many awesome franchises fading away after releasing a compilation album with only one song new, or a compilation album without any new songs. So I'm a bit cautious about this. So thank you very much for your suggestion, ML. At the same time, we have a suggestion here by Ao, and Ao is really excited about Room by Anthos, and it is soon. Yeah, indeed, it has already been released. From the previews, they tackle yet another style or styles of music to challenge themselves, and obviously more Toki Shunichi music is always good. I'm a simple woman, I'm sorry. Well, let's say that if you are a simple woman because you are saying more Toki Shunichi music is always good, I'm even simpler, because if there is more Toshiki Masuda, I'm all in. We have different favorites within the group, but we have the same goal. We want to listen to Anthos, and more music from them means more awesome performances from our favorites, which is pretty awesome. At the same time, I'm really excited about it. I've already told you that I'm really excited about Room. The group has been on a roll. They continue to release music that really excites me, so I want to dive into this CD as soon as possible, but I'm not going to dive into it just yet. But yeah, really excited about it, and I hope that you have listened to this CD and have enjoyed it a whole lot. Let me know in the comments how it felt to listen to that CD and what you enjoyed the most. I will check your comment after I reviewed the CD. So in that way you are not really spoiling me, because I am going to avoid your comments until I review the CD. And then I will reply to you. So yeah, thank you very much for your comment, Ao. And that's all from your comments. Let's dive into the next section. And it's time for Ask Vanessa, the corner in which I talk about anything and everything. And if Somosato is not active or Shoichiba is not active, I will be talking about something else. And in this case, I had here written, I have to talk about Dear Vocalist. I'm really excited about it, and if you have noticed the community tab, I have been leaving some polls in there. I have been sharing some information about the franchise, and I have been sharing how excited I am about the franchise, and I noticed that most of you are excited about it. Interesting thing, we have a comment in here, and a question in here actually, by, let me check, Unwelcome, that is actually about the Dear Vocalist franchise. So it all comes full circle. I am going to talk about Dear Vocalist in this corner. If you do not like, you can skip to the end of this video. The Dear Vocalist franchise is here. It's back with the 8th season, and the 8th season is titled Headliner. Finally, our favorite vocalists are going to headline a live show and see who stays or remains in the music label Climax Records. This is another challenge by the Panda Shacho, the figure behind all the demise that all the members suffer during their group travels. And in some way, this is quite exciting to have the franchise back after 1 year away from us. I appreciate this franchise a whole lot. It has given me a lot of perspective about music and even about themes like mental health. Yet again, this is something that is really well explored in this franchise. I've said it countless times before that I feel that this franchise is more about mental health than the music, but the music does a really good job at exposing those themes and talking about those themes, and I do appreciate it a whole lot. This is a franchise that I'm really excited about its comeback. I want it to come back. I've already pre-ordered Judas CD because I'm really excited about it. Is my favorite in case you haven't noticed, and is voiced by my all-time favorite voice actor, Suma Saito, of course. So yeah, really excited about this franchise and really excited about this comeback. First, let's dive into Unwelcome's question, and then I'm going to dive into your comments from the community section. Unwelcome asks, what are my thoughts about the comeback of the Dear Vocalist franchise and CIEL? Really excited about the comeback of the Dear Vocalist franchise. In case you haven't noticed, I'm really excited. The grin on my face tells everything, and whenever I talk about this franchise, it is as if my eyes are sparkling. This is a franchise that I hold really dear. This is a franchise that I have sunk so many hours into listening to those drama CDs, into the songs. I have a playlist with all the songs released so far in this franchise, and I listen to these almost every week. This is a franchise that the music is so good. I also enjoy Ron's compositions a whole lot since the time he was part of Old Codex. So yeah, this franchise has all the right ingredients for me. An amazing lineup, a really awesome composer, one of my favorite composers for 2D music, so we are already with a really big win in here. And of course the stories that were crafted, each character, I've grown fond of each character. Even if I say that Momochi is crazy, even I am fond of Momochi, because every single vocalist has its own unique charm, and it is something that really makes me come back to this franchise all the time. The music is really good by all members, all bands have a unique style. And even for bands more eclectic, for example Veronica, the band which is fronted by Momochi, even if they are eclectic, the styles or the presentation is really unique to each group or to each band. So I really enjoyed this a whole lot. Each band has their own identity, each vocalist has their own demeanor and identity as well. So there are no two characters in here that sound the same, look the same, or act the same. Or feel the same. Feeling is a really good keyword in here, because the franchise is all about feelings and how those can be a catalyst to something else, or be a result of something, or be something that will cure a problem or solve a problem in here. So yeah, really excited about this franchise. And I continue to be excited about it. I want May to arrive so that I can start reviewing the music in this franchise. I'm this excited, and this is a case in which the songs will be released and I'm going to review in the very same day they are released. So that's that level of excitement coming from me. At the same time, my thoughts about CIEL coming back. Of course I am excited about it. I found CIEL to have a really, I wouldn't say regal, but it was a really gothic, dramatic, orchestral style of rock. And I love that a whole lot. Unfortunately, he's not arriving to perform music, he's arriving to participate in the drama CDs. I'm quite excited to see what happens in here, especially his dynamic with Joshua, as they basically changed sides in this franchise. At the same time, I'm really curious to see how CIEL will approach Kagaribi, because Kagaribi, their whole thing is about them not even getting along. They are constantly shouting, screaming, and throwing stuff at each other, and in some way I'm curious to see how CIEL's whole laid-back vibe is going to work in there. But then again, that's why we need to wait for the CDs to arrive and see what he's going to add in there. But yeah, I'm expecting awesome things, and to have Ken back in the franchise is really, really exciting. I hope that in some way we get a CD by CIEL, if not as a bonus in this set of CDs in the headliner series, at least that he makes a comeback in another series. If there is another series, let's hope so. But if there is another series, I want CIEL back, because I felt that he had a really different approach to you, his significant other in the drama CDs, and in some way I'm curious to see who would be part of his band. So there's that in there. And of course I want to listen to Ken singing, because Ken has an amazing voice. I love his confidence, his showmanship as a performer. It is something that very few seiyuu artists have, that confidence, that charisma, that natural charisma on stage and even behind the mic that Ken has. So I'm really, really excited about that. In some way, let's dive now into your comments, or in some way in an analysis of what you shared with me. So I asked you which was the thing that you were most excited about it, or about in this franchise, and 59% of you said that it was the awesome music, and 24% of you were just like me about everything. It is something that I really enjoy a whole lot. It's the whole package in this franchise. I feel that the music makes sense, the storytelling in the drama CDs makes sense, because it ties up perfectly with the songs. And then we have the vocalists, each one is unique, they have their own struggles, you are there to help them overcome those struggles, or they are overcoming those struggles alone, and you are there supporting them in some way. They have their own quirks as composers, or as singers, or as performers, so it's also another thing that is really awesome. The bands themselves are really cool, and I do enjoy the lineups that each band has, and of course I do enjoy the whole lineup of songs that we have so far. It's already over 100 songs that we have in this franchise, I believe. If not, it's really close. And the songs are really, really awesome. Each song is fun, entertaining, powerful. It's all about shredding guitars, or another second it's all about really crazy over-the-top EDM or traditional Japanese music or funky tunes. It's a franchise that gives a whole lot of things within the rock, let's say the rock genre, and then goes into little detail, going in, exploring at least smaller sides or sub music genres in there, but also not forgetting to stray a bit away when it comes, especially with A-Dash and his band NSFW, because they are all about electronic music, which is not really the thing that the other bands have. For example, Judah, fronting Kagaribi, is performing hard rock, which is the heaviest brand of rock in this franchise. But for example, Momochi is performing the darkest and heaviest songs in this franchise, even if his music sounds bubbly at times. So yeah, you do have a really interesting duality in here, between the singers and the music they are performing, or between the bands and the way the vocalists approach the songs. So it is really, really interesting, and I'm really excited because you are actually here for the music, most of you, and there are some people just like me that are here for the whole package. I was surprised that most of you, or basically all of you, didn't care too much about the vocalists and their bands or their interactions. This goes basically to show that maybe you are not that big of a fan of the drama CD part of this franchise, which is perfectly okay. The franchise caters to a lot of people coming from completely different approaches. There are people like me that really enjoy the drama CDs, but not the drama CDs by all characters. There are people that enjoy the drama CDs by all characters, and there are people that do not care about the drama CDs and only care about the music. All fair, and it works pretty well. This is one of the charms in this franchise. It adapts really well. The music, you can listen to it and you can understand the story without listening to the drama CDs. If you listen to the drama CDs, you can already predict how a song is going to sound like. Because, first of all, you are going to get a preview of it in the context of the story. But even given the happenings that are going on in the drama CD, you can already tell how it's going to be the vibe in the songs. And for those that dive into the bands, you want to actually get into more detail about how are their relationships with the vocalists and how do they organize themselves. So I can understand why most people do not care about that, because that is an extra part of the CDs, but then again, fair game in here. So I was really excited that most of you were here because of the music. Then I asked which was your favorite vocalist in this franchise. There are no rights or wrongs in here. I was only trying to gauge if people were only fans of some specific vocalist or of a specific vocalist, or if we had love spread across them, and we have love spread across them, really. We can tell in here, of course, that Judah is the most popular out of all the characters in this franchise, but Momochi comes really, really close. I do find this quite entertaining, but because listening to the drama CDs, these two characters hate each other's guts, and they are so really close in here when it comes to talking about favorites in this franchise, which is really awesome. For me, they are my favorites in terms of the music, but when it comes to in terms of the story, it is Judah and A- for me. But when it comes to the music, it's Judah and Momochi. By far. By far. I do enjoy all the vocalists in this franchise. I do believe that they all perform amazingly well. They have all grown a lot as performers, mind you. For example, Toshiki Masuda and Nobunaga Shimazaki have changed a lot. And Ryohei Kimura is night and day between the very first song he performed as A- and how he is now performing as A-. It's completely different. The other singers, of course, were amazing to begin with. Natsuki Hanae is amazing, Toshiki Toyonaga is amazing, Soma Saito is amazing, so they do not need any introduction. They were the strongest singers right off the bat in this franchise, and they continue to be so. So I'm really, really happy to see that they continue to improve, because the other members continue to improve and to try to match, and they match the quality of these seiyuu. But of course, they perform completely different music genres, they have completely different approaches to their music, so in some way you end up having marginal differences in here, depending on which is the artist that you enjoy the most or not. But yeah, it was really awesome to see that love was spread out in here, and that there is no vocalist in here with 0% votes, which is really, really awesome. Thank you very much for watching this episode up until the very end, and of course, if you feel like this episode was awesome and you enjoyed it a whole lot, why not subscribe? It is right there in case you haven't subscribed, of course, and of course leave a like if you can, and check one of the two videos you have here on screen right now. They are awesome and you are going to learn awesome things from there. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and I'll see you guys soon.